Around the Ozarks is now on your FM radio. Listen to Around the Ozarks mornings with Grace Gooley as I spotlight local people, stories, and podcasts, all while playing the country legends of the 90s and the hit makers of the 2000s. It's on the Ozarks' best country, 105.1 The Bull. It's time for Around the Ozarks News, brought to you by the Springfield Greene County Park Board, Thompson Sales, Kitchen Land USA, Advanced Car Care, Smouse Brothers, and United Plumbing. Here are your hosts, Ethan and Sarah Forhetz.
Hey there, good morning to you. Wow, what a weekend we had. So we got a lot of snow all over the Ozarks, and now the cold is the big story as people start to get out and about a little bit. Roads are clearing up, but it is cold out there this morning.
It is really cold, which is one reason why so many schools are closed. More than 100, easily more than 100 closed, or at least adjusting their hours. Some of them just have a late start. But either way, the weather impacting travel and schools all over the Ozarks. Springfield is closed today. District leaders there say the dangerous road conditions prompted the cancellation. No in-class or virtual learning today. That is all on hold for the day. This is the first weather closure of the year for SPS, so they do have some days. Several nearby districts again closed, or some of them on virtual learning. Monday night's Springfield City Council meeting has been postponed due to the extreme cold, so no meeting tonight. That meeting will be held on February 2nd at the Police and Fire Training Center on West Battlefield. So it has been moved. City officials say the decision was made out of an abundance of caution. Public hearings and agenda items will be the same as they were going to be tonight, and you can find that information on the city's website.
All right, so not tonight, but next Monday they'll have that meeting. And obviously, the cold weather crisis shelters are open across Springfield as we are in this deep freeze. It's going to last a little while. Shelters activate when temperatures drop below 32, and we are, we're way below that right now. Locations include churches, nonprofits. They have dedicated men's and dedicated women's shelters as well as combined. If anybody's interested that you know of or needs that, they can get a hold of the Community Partnership of the Ozarks. It's also a place where you can call to volunteer if you would be interested in helping out. They've got the rush is on right now. You can do that at 417-290-3110 is the number. But you didn't get that, so just look up the Community Partnership of the Ozarks. Get in touch with them then. Winter storm also impacting air travel and has been for a couple of days. More than 20 flights to or from Springfield have already been canceled. That's just since Sunday morning. So Dallas and Charlotte are the connections that have been hit hardest. They've got ice issues. And if you recall the 2007 ice storm here, ice issues are really big issues. Knocks out power for so many people for extended periods of time. The airport says runways remain clear here, but it's the airlines deciding to cancel based on other airports and what's going on there. So obviously, if you have a trip planned, you already know this, but you need to be checking with your airline before you head to the airport. All right, and stick around for Abby Dyer's Wake Up weather forecast. She'll tell you what we have in store for the rest of the week. I think there's a slight warm up, and then really, really cold again for the next weekend. So you can check it out and see if I'm actually right. The Springfield Branson Airport, in other news, is planning for the long term. More than 700 acres near the airport have now been rezoned for heavy manufacturing use. The airport says the move it consolidates zoning and protects land for future development. New runway is part of long-range master plan, but it is not imminent. Rezoning will also go to City Council on February 9th for a hearing. So That's coming up.
All right. A woman is in the hospital after a shooting during a well-being check in Greene County. Deputies were called to a home on North Bear Creek Saturday night for what was to be a suicide-related call. But they say when they arrived, the woman pointed a gun at a deputy who then fired his weapon. No one else was hurt, and there is no threat to the public. The sheriff's critical incident team is investigating that case. The Springfield Art Museum could receive a major funding boost. The city's Citizens Advisory Board has recommended a total of $30 million over the next 2 years for the museum's expansion. The money would come from the Spring Forward SGF sales tax, pending the approval from City Council. Museum leaders say the project would expand galleries and accessibility ahead of the targeted 2028 reopening. Council will hold a public hearing before taking a final vote on that.
Wow. It's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. Okay. The new apartments are being planned for the Springfield Plaza area. The Planning and Zoning Commission approved rezoning for 18 acres near West Bypass and Sunshine. The developer is proposing more than 400 apartments there in 21 three-story buildings. So it's a big complex. The project would include a pool, clubhouse, sports courts for residents who live there. The city council will hold a hearing on that plan also February 9th. So the airport, February 9th, this February 9th, and then the next council meeting a week from tonight.
Okay. A Springfield company that you may or may not have heard of. I had not heard of it until now, but they are shipping millions of packages per year. Kind of think Amazon, except for not quite. Good Company, which is a third-party fulfillment business on West Kearney, has more than doubled in size every year since 2020. The company employs about 250 people and expects to ship 3 million orders this year. Leaders say Springfield's central location gives them a major shipping advantage. The company is looking at expansion locally and on the coast.
Yeah, good for them. That's great.
That is so cool.
Well, it's timely because, man, everything is shipped and everybody expects everything to be shipped quickly and, free returns and all of that stuff. There's just a lot of shipping going on right now.
So, yeah, good timing.
We made it through the snow, and we got a fair amount of snow at our house. And Sarah got to spend all day Saturday without leaving the house almost.
It was really wild. It's something that I never do.
Yeah,
never.
Yeah, I don't do it as often as I'd like, but she never does it. So that was fun. We had a good weekend. I made roast, which is fantastic. Everybody loves that. And that'll warm your innards. It's one of those.
It felt very appropriate.
Warms your innards. I took the Jeep out, obviously, driving the Jeep. I did have the top up, so I'm not, I'm foolish, but not quite that foolish. So I went out in the Jeep driving around and took our 16-year-old daughter out to, it was her first time driving the Jeep. It's a stick. So she was learning how to drive a stick and four-wheel drive.
Also known as a standard transmission. You said something about a stick on Facebook, like a stick shift. And there was a lady, I literally decided to go look at her profile because she was way too old to not know what a stick was. She was like, a stick? ? I'm like, is she serious? But I think she was.
Oh, well, what are you going to do? You can't please everybody. But it's a stick shift. I've always just called it a stick. Right.
I'm tracking with you.
Sir. I don't even think about it. That's what I call it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so she was learning how to, first gear, second gear. We were in a parking lot, a big empty parking lot of a store that was, I think it was open, but nobody was there. But it was a giant parking lot. And then before you know it, we're going into this snow mound and bam, we bop up and it was a curb. we had hit an island in the middle of the parking lot. So, it killed the car. She took her foot off the clutch and, so I taught her about that and four-wheel drive as well. So she got to do it all. So that was fun.
Good times. Yeah. I know. You seem very responsible.
Me?
Yeah. I mean, teaching her how to use, I've taught her cursive. What else does she need to know? She knows how to write in cursive and drive a stick shift.
Well, she's ahead of the game, I think.
I feel like she is.
Anybody else knows how to drive a stick. Not that she knows how. She's still working on it. Needs some practice for sure. But I wasn't even gonna do it. And then I thought, you know what? We went. Where did we go? Oh, we went to get a coffee, and they had just opened because they opened late. And they said, we just walked in, we just opened. So I said, well, you know what? We'll be back. So we went to a big parking lot, and I said, guess what? You're going to learn how to drive the Jeep. And the Jeep is like my baby. I've had it since I got it new in 1995. So she looked at me like, really? You're going to let me drive this thing? And I think she was a little bit scared about it. But, once she got the clutch and the gas ready to go and was able to do that the first couple of times without killing it, she did a pretty good job. And then she hit the curb.
Yep.
Yeah.
So there's that. But you could have hit the curb. That could have happened. Anyone, you couldn't see it. It was buried.
I intentionally hit them. I look for them and climb over them. It's fun.
In the Jeep. Yeah.
And it's snowy.
All right. Well, enjoy. I think most people are probably working today, but hey, school's out. So enjoy that.
Yeah. A lot of people working from home. So have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow.
It's time for Around the Ozarks Wake Up Weather, brought to you by Command Family Medicine, Heating and Air Paramedics, The Trailer Ranch, Hewitt Messenger, and Taylor Grubaugh Chevrolet. Here's your host, meteorologist Abby Dyer.
Good morning, everybody. On one of the coldest days we've had around in years, temperatures are starting out sub-zero this morning, and it feels more like negative 15 to negative 25 degrees across the Ozarks when you factor in the wind chill. So if you're listening to this, you're in a car, or you're preparing to head out for the day, bundle up. It is dangerously cold. Cover all your skin if you have to be outside in this. It's incredibly cold across the Ozarks. One of the reasons it is so cold is because we've got this blanket of snow, and overnight the skies cleared out. Clear skies, that blanket of snow, it really allows the temperature to drop to an extreme. And that's exactly what we're seeing this morning, with temperatures below zero and not much relief in sight as we head into today. One positive thing about today is that we are going to see the sunshine. I do think, though, that we're going to hold on to this extreme cold warning until noon today. It's dangerous to be outdoors for any extended period of time. Of course, schools closed all across the Ozarks. Yes, because the snow and the road conditions. But another reason, I think the cold could have done it alone. It is so chilly outside. No kids could be standing out at the bus stop for any amount of time or walking to school in these types of temperatures. We've got sub-zero temperatures this morning. It is dangerously cold. That's stealing the headlines for us this morning. We also have clear skies, and many folks that got the winter weather over the weekend are dealing with similar conditions. The temperatures across the country this morning are brutal. In fact, there is a huge area where numbers are below zero, and we, of course, are included in that here in the Ozarks. We will continue to see our really cold temperatures stick with us through much of the afternoon. We've got high temperatures today, high of 17 in Springfield. Still holding on to a north breeze, so I don't expect any of the wind to be too strong, but it doesn't take much of a wind to add to that feels like temperature out the door. Overall this week, it is going to be cold and dry. Even though I have a gradual warming trend in this 7-day forecast, these numbers are so far below what's typical of this time of the year. It's really kind of hard to even call it a warming trend when we've got temperatures in the 20s and 30s for highs for the rest of the week. Another push of Arctic air is also on the way. I want to let you know this is not the last taste of winter that we have seen. Another very cold boundary is going to come through over the weekend. It could bring some snow flurries with it. At this time, I'm not too concerned with an additional chance for accumulating snowfall. However, there is going to be some really cold air coming back into the Ozarks for the weekend. So some of the best days this week will actually be maybe Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Those are going to be the better days. If you have to get something done outdoors or run errands, I would choose the end of the week just because the temperature lets up a little bit. This snowpack, though, it's here to stay. With all of this cold weather in the forecast, we are not going to be able to melt this off, let alone before the next push of cold air comes into our region. This morning, we've got incredibly cold wind chills. It's better, but not by much tomorrow. Tomorrow, Tuesday's AM wind chill, anywhere from 0 to negative 10. On Wednesday is similar setup. It could be -10, sub-zero wind chill values, with numbers still feeling incredibly cold by Thursday morning and highs maybe making it above freezing by Tuesday and Wednesday of this week, with the possibility of sneaking above freezing on Thursday too. Around the country, what's making headlines? Well, it's the same winter storm that came through for us for much of the country. We've got this high impact, far reaching winter storm continuing for much of the Northeast. And today it's turn for New York State, Maine, seeing some snowfall out of this. And of course, the Washington, D.C. area also had the winter weather as well as the freezing rain over the weekend. So thankfully, we got left out of that situation. We have bitter cold continuing for much of the lower 48, and another boundary is coming through for the weekend. Arctic air, it's going to linger for much of the country, and that's in the national news headlines this morning. You're going to hear about some of the extreme cold and devastation from the ice storms over the weekend, particularly in Mississippi and in Nashville. Huge areas where power is still out and folks are trying to stay warm. All right, it's time for the Around the Ozarks Wake Up Weather Brain Twister trivia question for the day. And the question that I left you with last week was this: what amount of ice accumulation from freezing rain is typically the threshold for the National Weather Service to issue an ice storm warning in many areas? And the options are A, at least 1/8 of an inch, B, at least 1/4 of an inch, C, at least 1 inch, or D, any measurable ice, even a trace amount. And typically, what most National Weather Service offices do is at least 1/4 of an inch will prompt an ice storm warning. Of course, if you looked at the national map over the weekend, those were everywhere, and rightfully so, because there are some places across the country that got 1 to 2 inches of ice. All right, here's the trivia question that I'll leave you with for tomorrow. Which of these best describes how freezing rain forms, unlike sleet or regular rain? Do you think it is A, that rain falls from the clouds, passes through a shower layer of sub-freezing air near the surface, and freezes instantly upon hitting objects or the ground? B, snowflakes fall directly to the ground without melting, then melt slightly on impact and refreeze? C, supercooled water droplets in the clouds freeze into ice pellets before reaching the ground due to collision with other particles? Or D, warm rain falls through this deep, cold layer into small ice balls that bounce on impact? You can let me know your guess. That's at the website, aroundtheozarks.com. Thanks to our sponsors, Command Family Medicine, Heating and Air Paramedics, The Trailer Branch, Hewitt Messenger, and Taylor Grubaugh Chevrolet. I sure appreciate you listening this morning. Stay warm, everybody. There is an extreme cold warning in the Ozarks until noon today. I'll be back to chat with you first thing tomorrow morning.